Welcome back to another episode of Ultras 11. I'm in a great mood. I'm in a fantastic mood.
Why are you in a great mood today, Joe? What happened?
I think
what happened this weekend?
Think my Lupetto wants to say something. We beat Lazio.
If you guys didn't know, if you guys weren't following along, if you guys were living under a rock, Roma won the Scudetto this weekend.
Yeah.
Not sure if anyone saw that, but it's done. That's it. Even though they're still below.
No,
it's done. They're actually above.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Supercoppa though. Milan won it today. Congrats, Milan." No. Roma won yesterday.
And I will say, after watching that game, two guys who, may not be, from Rome or like true Romanists, but really showed it that game. Actually, you know what? Three guys I will say, because they really impressed me. Like that they just watching them play. I thought that they were from Rome. Like they would do anything for that jersey.
Passion.
Number one
has to be who I'm thinking.
Paredes.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
With ease. Paredes. Number two, Hummels.
Yeah.
Hummels really surprised the fuck out of me, man. I thought he was just, class, and like I respect the fuck out of him after that performance. Like taking nothing away from him. I thought he was like, one of those classy guys, like, didn't get involved in no bullshit, but man, he really showed that like he doesn't like Lazio.
Yeah. It's like his
emotion
his emotion just came out there at the end, and it's like there was no entire reason for him to do what he did. He just decides like, no, fuck you, I'm getting in this now. And he just starts to scrub. It's like, hell yeah.
Massive respect out to him. And the last one, obviously, with the biggest meme of 2025 so far, Kone. Dude, first the performance and his attitude in that game, and then that picture. Holy fuck, man. My respect. I already told you at the beginning of the season, after watching him play against Juve, I was like, dude, that's your midfielder right there.
Yeah,
he's the real deal. Like, I genuinely enjoy watching him play. I think he can do very well for Roma. But man, he just earned a whole another level of respect.
He's a little. You know what's crazy to me too? Like, I was watching the game with my brother, who he's a Juve fan, and he literally said, he's like, honestly, there's no better game in Serie A to watch than this.
Yeah.
He's like, watching Roma Lazio, because it's like two shit teams essentially going at each other, playing the best football they will play all year. Mm-hmm. And it's so scrappy. It's so in each other's face. It's 100% for 90 fucking minutes. Mm-hmm. There's red cards. There's fights. There's everything you want and everything you need in a game. It's absurd. And even seeing like Manu Kone, okay, the tackle was a little bit dirty on Guendouzi, but it's like they're also like national team compatriots. Mm-hmm. Like they both play for France, whatever. Probably roughly around the same age too, I'd say. So they probably even grew up within each other's like youth academies for France or under 21 teams. And Guendouzi was literally just trying to egg him on and scrap him. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you?
That's your boy.
That's supposed to be your guy. Like you don't see that every day. And then it's like they forget their nationalities and just remember, like, I'm on Roma, you're on Lazio. Fuck you. Yeah. And it's like it's nice to see like somebody who's not Italian really embrace it. Like Paredes, it's always assumed with him because he'll go to bat for anybody. Like that's his, like who he plays for. That's the badge he wears, and that's why I love Paredes. But seeing Kone do it, then seeing him post the picture. If you didn't see the picture, was him basically sitting in the middle with a bunch of kids around him, and he cropped Lazio players' faces as the kids sitting on his lap. So yeah, great.
That guy MVP of the week is Kone, man. He's massive, but that I will agree with. Like out of the derbies in Italy, I know the Derby d'Italia between Juve and Inter, and even whatever fuck I don't know what it's called, whatever Inter and Milan, they're good derbies. That one's obviously like Milan Inter is a classic derby, but as of recently, man, the two derbies that I look forward to the most, one of them, Roma Lazio, because no matter what, it's always a bloodbath. It's entertaining from start to end, and it's just a great match. I think they're in the last maybe 3 years, there's maybe like one of the matches that was a very like just boring match. Like everyone was kind of scared. Other than that, man, it's always just they're going for blood.
Yeah. And
similar to that one, which I would say for me, as of like recently, I like a lot better than Juve Inter is the derby that we have coming up this weekend, Juve versus Torino, because that one there, it's like no matter how shit Torino could be last place. But when it comes time to that derby, they're playing like they're a top 4 team, and it is just an entertaining match because
it's crazy.
Both sides they the hatred's not as bad as Roma Lazio, but it's a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
Now recently, like Juve Inter, like it's always a good matchup, but I feel like you either get like this year where it was all firepower and ended fucking 4-4, or everyone's scared to do like they're scared to mess up and it's just 0-0 game.
Yeah.
So like I feel like those ones there, it's always like it's a hit or miss. But these derbies here, man, you're always in for a treat. And this weekend, we definitely were in for a treat.
It's crazy because like a lot of people might question like, oh, where does the whole Juve Torino streak, I was going to say, derby come from? It's obviously like a little bit outdated, I would say, in a sense, whereas like the level of quality between the two teams are such a big gap. Obviously, back then it was way different. Torino was a top
one of the
dog.
best teams in the world.
Yeah, so like it was a lot that was very different, but they were also, it was almost like an Inter Milan where Torino is the actual place in Italy.
Yeah.
And then like you was kind of renting like Inter does for Milan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not an inner city rivalry per se, but it's like still like they're located out of the same place. But it's still like Juve and Torino back then was massive. I was literally talking about that with my father today, the other week, about how big that game used to be and how like now it's kind of died out a little bit because Juve always just ends up running away with it. But it's like you still see Torino, like for them, that's their Scudetto.
Yeah.
Like they still take it as like, no. You could be in first place, undefeated, beating every team 5-0.
Don't matter.
We are gonna come at you with everything, and we want to win. And if we win that game, we won Italy.
But even like that matchup, like even like the years when we were dominating, it was always the toughest match that we would play because like there was that year where when majority of the games always was a tie game, and then in the 90th minute we somehow we found a goal, like when Pirlo fucking scored that banger out of the box. Like it was always that kind of match, and you can feel like the fucking tension in that game. But nothing was more than this weekend's game, and honestly, what a treat. It sucked Juve, like not watching Juve play fucking because we're playing that stupid Super Cup, but it was nice seeing a game like that happen this weekend because I feel like we were Roma really needed a game like that, and especially against Lazio. I feel like already like Ranieri's onto a good run, and now 5 games now in a row, 5 wins in a row. Now after beating Lazio, I feel like, man, like this is the turning point that like you guys really needed.
Man, it came at the best worst time. For Roma, like obviously it's a bad time because like I still wish we had a couple. No offense to the other teams, because in reality, the one little mistake that Ranieri has had since he took over was against Como. So I'm not gonna say these smaller teams, but do you know what I mean? Like the smaller end teams, like the Lecces, whatever. I wish we maybe had a couple more of those games, just so it's almost like, oh yeah, hey, get some feelers in, get your motivation up, stuff like that. But to march and beat Lazio the way we did, like honestly, man, I was never even fazed that one moment in the game. Once we got that,
looked from the beginning, you had full control.
And that's the thing, like it was literally like we scored our 2 goals. We could have honestly maybe got in another goal or whatever if we kept attacking the way we were.
Easily.
But even then, the way they were defending, there was never a moment where like, oh fuck, Lazio might do something. No. Like, no, there was never that. Like it was crazy because I don't see that from Roma ever. That we shut a game out that effortlessly. And like it just looked like everybody knew, like, okay, cross the ball in, don't worry, we got it, we'll take care of it. Oh, you want to shoot from outside the box? No worries, we'll block that too. Like,
go ahead.
Everything was just falling into place, and it's like they got in the players' heads, they played well, they moved well. It was nice. It was lovely to see, and
I love how Dybala at the end, giving the
Lazio,
showing the Lazio fans the 5.
Ranieri also set a record for coaches. Well, okay, not for coaches, but for any Roma or Lazio coach. He's the first coach to go completely undefeated in all the derbies, and he hasn't even tied one of them. He's 5-0. Oh, sorry, no, yeah, he's 5.
Yeah. I don't even know why I was playing. I did see that on Twitter. That's why I got that picture. I sent it to you. That's him as Julius Caesar.
And honestly, man, it's funny watching him when all the fights were breaking down. You literally see, like, because Hummels fought Tati right in front of Ranieri.
Yeah.
You literally just see, like, all the players go to Ranieri to escort him away, and then they went to go fight with Hummels. And it's just like, they all know, like, he's just an old man. He's just frail. It was nice to see. And it's nice seeing that it was Pellegrini that got a goal.
Yeah.
Especially,
he needed that.
You know, like, it's one of those things that, like, and Ranieri's doing so well with the way he talks about things. Like, he knows, he looks at all these kids, and I know it's going to sound like cliche or whatever, but those are all his kids. Like, literally, those are all his sons.
That's what separates an experienced coach to some of these new age coaches that don't fully understand what it takes and what it is and how you protect the players and how important the things you say about the players in the press conferences is and how much it actually affects them. Because, you start having a coach that will start calling out things or, this guy, how am I supposed to do anything? We know this guy's hurt and, with this and this guy here and, this guy has to, he has to find himself. They like the players hear that shit and once I've been there too. Like once you know and you hear that like your coach doesn't have that confidence in you, it's hard to kind of to push through and like keep your head in the game and in that place there. Like it's tough. And having Ranieri there and just the shit he says in these interviews and just the way he talks about these guys, and like you were even saying with Pellegrini, how he says, he's a boy and he's a sensitive guy. He's not like other Romans where, you can say whatever you want about them. People would talk shit about De Rossi saying, he was at the time, like when he, first coming up, he's fucking talentless. He just fucking takes out people's legs. He's a mercenary.
I was one of those guys.
But that's what people were, would say about him. And you never saw it affect him. He would go out every game and play his game the way he knew. And now you look back and you're like, no, he was phenomenal at what he did. Like he was a monster. You hated going up against him.
It's true.
But he was one of those guys that he didn't let any of that shit affect him. Even Totti too.
Oh, Totti didn't give a shit.
He didn't give a fuck.
Even half the time.
You can talk shit about him. Never mind now on Twitter. You talk shit to his face and you okay. Go out the next game and score 3 goals. Like it was nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the difference. Pellegrini, and you can tell, like you've seen it throughout his career. Like it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. Like he doesn't have that confidence and that he can just hear people talking shit and he'll be like, fuck them. I'm gonna go out and I'll fucking prove them wrong. He in his head, he's like, okay, fuck, like now, now I have to do something because if I don't, like, it's gonna be even worse, and they're gonna talk even more. And then you get in your own head, you start putting that own pressure on you, and it's hard to sometimes overcome that.
And that's I think like it's like you said with Ranieri, like the difference between an experienced coach and like these younger age coaches. I think Ranieri coming, like as much as I'm very fond of De Rossi, and like the one thing I commended De Rossi about was it's not that he passed the buck or he'd make an excuse about injuries or this or whatever. It was that he took responsibility for everything.
Yeah.
It's on me. I knew he wasn't in the right space, blah, 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 whatever. Like every coach has said, Roma has a mentality problem, obviously. But the only coaches that have tried to actually address situations and say, like, hey, this guy is going through a tough spot mentally. It's guys like De Rossi and Ranieri. Yeah. Ranieri is going about it as like a father to son thing with Pellegrini, which is, I think, what he actually needed more than the De Rossi leadership. Respectfully to De Rossi, obviously. But with like Ranieri, it's like him saying like he's a sensitive boy. He needs to get his head right. He takes this stuff personally. Blah, blah, blah. Like every coach has criticized the mentality of Roma, but Ranieri's actually addressing it. He's actually trying to figure out the psychology of these players. And he's learning like they're sensitive. That's what it is. These guys are all sensitive and they need proper leadership, like from him.
Yeah.
And he's realizing that. And look now, like look at how all these guys are coming out. Like everybody's playing well. Everybody's
so you see the change
well.
in their game and like how well they're actually doing.
Pellegrini is literally like the definition of that. Like he literally came out and said, there's certain games where right now I think he could psychologically withstand, and there's some games he can't.
Yeah.
Him starting yesterday was actually a shock.
Yeah.
Because he came out earlier that week saying like, I'm not going to play Pellegrini. No. There's too much pressure on a Roman-born player to do well in this situation, and I don't think he needs that, blah, blah, blah. So, like, that was, like, a huge shock that he ended up putting the faith in him, but it ended up looking like look how well it worked.
Even that, from an experienced coach, that could have been part of the plan. Coming out earlier in the week and saying, like, I don't, he's not ready yet, like, mentality and everything, especially in a game like this, and, like you just mentioned, maybe that kind of, Pellegrini hearing that, it's not like he's talking shit about him or saying, that he's stating the facts and that's what it is. Yeah. Maybe got Pellegrini to say, no, fuck that. Hey, Ranieri, put me in there. I'm confident. I'm like, I'm gonna do something that game there. Yeah. He said, hey, you know what? No problem. Exactly. You want it? I'll give it to you. Gave it to him. Guy scored a goal and he played a good game.
Yeah. And I think that's the kind of stuff that Roma needs right now. I'm not saying Roma's going to go on this crazy tangent and we're going to finish top 4 or win the Europa League or win Coppa Italia. But I'm seeing great things from this team. And this is what goes to show you, like, this team is built, like, Roma's never been a solid team. Let's get real. The reality of Roma is, like, we've always been a sleeping giant. I'm not saying Ranieri's going to take us to the promised land and we're going to be this giant again. No, that's not it. But he will be the reason why Roma becomes competitive.
Yeah.
Because Roma should always be run and owned by Romans in a sense because they know what the fans are like. Yeah. They know what the pressure is and stuff like that.
They understand it the best.
Exactly. Look at all our Scudetto came from the same ownership, and it was a Sensi ownership.
Yeah.
And that was Roman-born people. You know, he had people at his right hand that were Roman-born. Mm-hmm. Look at right now. I'm not going to criticize the Friedkins anymore. It's more so like they try to appoint people. They have the money. They're giving everybody a blank check. So I can't really fault them for just saying like whatever. But they're putting people in charge with great resumes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need that. You just need guys that understand what the fuck Roma is. You know what I mean? And like them appointing Ranieri, I'll keep saying it to him blue in the face. Next year is going to be huge because they finally have somebody in their ear that is actually Roman and actually makes sense to them. You know what I mean? Like, so that's when I want to see what these guys are able to do and get out of the players. Yeah. But I digress. Talked about these guys too much.
No, hey, but you know what, this week, I will say, I trip Roma a lot.
We had to talk about it.
But rightfully so, man. They really came out. And
we're the best team in the world. I know. You don't have to tell me.
Fucking destroyed Lazio and made them look like they were nothing, dude. Like, everyone forgets like how good of a start Lazio went on this year.
I know.
Like, they were a tough team to play against. And you guys just made them look like it was like the opposite sides of the table, and they were where Roma is right now, and like they were just doing shit. Like they did not look like a good team yesterday.
And we help Juve.
Friends helping friends, obviously. Dude. We're always helping each other. We're always helping each other out.
But let's
we'll move on to the next topic.
January transfer market.
Before we get into that, we'll talk quickly about this fucking stupid Supercoppa.
Oh, fuck those guys, man.
Okay, but I can't be the only one. And this I've said it before the Juve Milan game. Couldn't care less about that because the way they did it was fucking stupid. Tell me how it makes sense that Milan and Atalanta, who didn't win anything last year, were at the Super Cup. That is supposed to be between the winner of the league and the winner of the Italian league. How does that make sense?
Money.
Oh, the $8 million the winner's gonna get? What does that fucking change?
No one ever said that Italy's smart about things.
Because if you think about it, Joe, first place got $8 million. I believe second place got like 4 or 5, and then the two runners up got like 2 or 2.5. Take out those 2 runners up, put that 2.5 from each of them into the pot, and you get a little bit bigger pot for the 2 teams. Why not do that?
Honestly, that's what I mean. It would make more sense if you looked at me and said the first place guys get everything. Not even the second place, like the first place. So it gives you more of an incentive to actually
try to play for it.
I've always said like the Super Cup, it makes sense. I get it. There's still like that competitive edge. It's still a trophy. It's still this. It's still that. But like in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like to me, I'd actually look at you and say the Coppa Italia matters more.
Yeah.
Because if you win 10 of them, you could put a silver star on your jersey. No, but you know what I mean? Like the Scudetto means more because you win 10 of them, there's a star right there.
You get a star on your jersey.
You don't get a star for winning 10 fucking Super Cups. You don't get anything. All you get is a high five and a little cash injection. Before it was only like $2 million these guys were getting because they were playing out in Italy. Now, okay, it's a little bit higher. It's cool. It's nice. But if you're gonna make these players travel all the way to Dubai or wherever it was in Dubai, right? And you're gonna make it tournament style with the semifinals and the finals. Completely stupid, but you want to change it up. Whatever. That's fine. But incentivize it more. Don't make the. But Joe, what the hell can $8 million get these guys nowadays?
Oh, to make it more entertaining and to hopefully get more viewers watching the Super.
You're not gonna get viewers because that stadium was empty.
Less this year.
Yeah, man. Like I'm sorry. Like if you want to get more viewers and whatever, you're not gonna put these guys like respectfully to Dubai. I'm not trying to sound like a dickhead here, but these guys don't give a fuck for average Serie A players. You know what I mean? Like, if you had an El Clasico out in Dubai, cool. Yeah. That would be something that could be very much monetized and would maybe sell out or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Look, if you look at the stadium, these 4 games, was it 4 games? Yeah. Yo, it was empty. It was honestly empty. And I'm not trying to diss or I'm not trying to say anything, but it's literally just like picking at straws, like, oh, you get a quick bit of money.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. But then you ruin it too because how many actual fans, like true fans from Italy of those teams travel? Like, do you think travel to Dubai?
Exactly.
Like, how many? The rest of them there are just people that live there. Okay, I get there's fans, but not like the fans you have in Italy. Yeah. Like it's like if you put, let's say, imagine like they did like in football and the Roma Lazio derby. They're like, we're not going to play it in Rome this year. We're going to be playing it in Dubai as like a special event thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool, but like you're not going to have that like that fans like at the end of the day like those fans in that stadium make a difference.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like they can literally be an 11th 12th man and win you a game.
Yeah.
It's like they have that influence, but when you bring it out there, you're not really getting that same effect.
And that's why like this the only thing I could think of that might maybe add to like why they did it was again like the sponsorship money, the deal in place, and like whatever. But when they break it down like that, there's no incentive for these guys. Now they're gonna come back. They probably like one of these teams have a game on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is. They will have probably 2 to 3 days of rest. So this game that they're playing on the weekend, they're not gonna be fully prepped for. Which they're gonna turn around and say, "Oh, it's fine. It's a league game. It's whatever. This and that." But it's not fine. Like, why are you going? Like, if you want to spread the name of the game, if you want to gain traction, whatever, go to places that they actually give a fuck for the sport. They should have honestly looked. I don't know if there was money in this or whatever it is, but look at North America.
Yeah,
not Canada because we're from Canada, and it's like I would love to see Roma play at BMO. No, not that. I'm talking about a fucking Juve Milan game being at AT&T Stadium. You know what I mean? Like something like that where it's, I don't know how much they could hold. I think it's like 100K people, something along those lines, something crazy. And you already know there's a big Italian base in America. You know, in America.
Even in Canada, because even if they do it at AT&T, you'll get like, dude, like if that was a league game, for a friendly, depends. For a league game. Dude,
this is the Supercoppa. Like I'm saying, for the Supercoppa. But that's what I mean. You would then get people from Canada that want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Juve playing, and you'll have those ultras that still go out. You'll still have a traveling fan base. Yeah. Maybe not the Europeans would come over here, but you'd have all of North America going to those games.
You'd have the same amount of Europeans coming here that went to Dubai, but the difference is the fans that are here and in not just New York, in the States, you have a big Italian base in a lot of these places, and you have there's a lot more fans and people that are a lot more passionate about these teams than in Dubai.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, like I mean, that would be cool to see. Like I don't know why that's never a thing.
I don't understand if they're. Again, my only thing that I could say to understand why they did it out in Dubai was because of money. That's the only thing I can.
No, the reason they're still doing it is because they had that contract with them that it was like every other year they play it there for 5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the last year of the contract. There might be one more, but I hope,
because that sucks.
It's stupid, man. Bring it, like, dude. At the end of the day, like the Canada thing, like that's cool. That's a good idea. Or even like the States. At the end of the day, the Super Cup for whichever league should be played in that country's capital.
Yeah.
The Super Cup should be played in Rome. If Roma's in it, cool. You still limit I'm saying you still limit the number of like Roman fans that are allowed. Like you still do the split 50-50, that 50% has to be you, 50% has to be Roma, and you play it there. But that's what makes sense. You're playing it there in Italy where it should be.
And that's the thing too, like with the Super Cup, like correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it always happens before the season starts, right?
The Super Cup?
Yeah.
So when they play it in Italy, yes. When they do it in Dubai, they always do this January thing, which like, again,
stupid. Middle of the season. It's like what we complain about with the AFCON happening in January, or in the World Cup happening in the middle of the season, stuff like that.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it does not make put it at the beginning of the season. That's like after that you play preseason, then it's Super Cup time, and then you start your season, and that's it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be in the middle of the season. You're already playing for a new campaign.
Now you even changed the layout of it, that you're doing a tournament style, saying that it's like more games now that these guys have to play. But yet then Serie A is also the same guys that will turn around and complain that none of their teams could compete in Europe. But it's like, hey man, you're adding the most unnecessary middle of the season tournament. Whose fault is that?
For what?
Yeah, exactly.
Do it at the beginning of the season, one game. Whoever wins, they win the Super Cup that year.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Sorry, I want to get my little piece in about that.
You are right. I do not like the way that, like, I told you, I think I understand because it's like the financial incentive, but even then it doesn't make sense because nowadays, what the fuck could you get with $8 million? Nothing. In this sport, that is investing in a second division player that is 14 years old.
Yeah.
That's the reality of all. Or maybe you have Atalanta sporting director and you pick them up for $1.50, so you still have $7 million point whatever left
you
over.
paid $500K for them.
Yeah, like
they're selling for $80 million.
Yeah, but speaking of transfers and what you could buy and stuff like that, it is January
and the market is open.
We've seen a lot of players linked with exits from their team. Leaves.
Like I know it's open. You haven't really seen like I don't even think I've seen a deal happen yet. Yeah. I've seen like, this guy's interested in, he's looking to leave or he's looking for a new change, like a change of scenery. This team's looking at this guy, but like nothing concrete, nothing. And I get it's the first week, but still surprised. I thought teams would kind of act quick on it.
Like to my knowledge too, I don't think I've seen like a here we go confirmed ABC is going to this team or whatever. So I think you are right there. But what we're gonna do is we chose already our 5 teams that we're going to talk about. Obviously, our teams will be 6 teams. I thought it was 5. Anyways, our team will be 2 out of 6 teams. That
Sexy 6 sisters.
Anyways, yes, talk about players that we would like to see. I think we did something like this last year, but we did it past and present. I think we've done something like that. We've talked about even like unrealistic players or who we think we'd go in, like would look good in said jersey.
Who would fit for that
This year, we're going based off strictly transfer rumors. We are not going to fabricate a rumor. We are not going to create a rumor.
Not even just rumors. Even ones that if they're not even talked about, who we think would fit for that team for what they need right now going into that second half of the season. But obviously, like we said earlier, it has to be realistic.
Roma
needs Mbappe. Then we get Rudiger back, and then bring in Valverde for vibes.
Odeman, Valverde, and Rudiger.
Yeah. No, not doing that. We're going to do whether they were already linked or, if we just think that it's a realistic option, that's what we're going to go through. So we'll go through each team, do our 3 players who we think, you can give a little bit of a reason why you think that too, and then we'll move on. Yeah.
And again, like we could use the same player for certain teams.
It's not like you use one and they're done.
Yeah, because again, if you we're going to be doing the Serie A, and I could tell you right now, like, there's 3 teams that could do with Pellegrini's services. You know what I mean? Or like Fratesi, who's on the bench, like stuff like that. Like, so obviously I'm not going to say, oh, no, Fratesi can only go to Juve. That's the only one. No, like we're going to say whatever we want in that regard. Yeah. So speaking of, should we do Inter first?
So who do you want to start with? You want to start with Inter?
I mean, there's 0 points to mention Atalanta.
Yeah, because I was going to mention them, but...
Yeah, no, I know you were going to mention them because I know you want to talk about Atalanta all the time. I'm just going to say no right now because there's no point.
There's no one they
They're
going to
pick up some random guy that nobody's heard of and then sell him for $87 million to United next year, like
or to Juve,
or Milan, or Roma, or anyone, and somehow it works.
Yeah, it's also
fucking hell.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about Atalanta.
No, definitely not.
We'll start things off with the other black and blue team, Inter.
Yep. So Inter.
I mean, just off the bat, I feel like. Inter's at that point now where they have a pretty solid foundation of a team, and even like their depth. When you got fucking Beppe Morata there, man.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to build a team and exactly what the team needs to be competitive. And if somebody goes down, you still stay competitive, and you just see a big decrease. So for me, I think. The places that Inter kind of have to target, which I'm not even saying that they're weak, just more for depth reasons, I would say that they need at least a defender. They need another midfielder. I want to say midfielder, but then I'm thinking about their bench and like they're sitting Fratesi, which he would start on majority of the teams.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even say mid. Like I would probably honestly say. I would say to bring in another attacker because I don't like Taremi. Thuram seemed like now I think was he out suspended today or was he hurt?
I think he was suspended.
Okay, but even with him
suspended.
With him, I know he has a past that he has some injury problems. Hopefully nothing happens, but when you're a team like Inter and you're going to be competitive in Champions League, you're going to be competitive in the league. You got to have guys that if somebody goes down, that it's not just, a filler, that's somebody that can actually do the job and fill that spot good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, attacking wise, I'd probably say like if they can bring in somebody. I'm trying to think of like someone like young. Like for defense, I would definitely say to bring someone to try to get somebody experienced. Like I would have said like a perfect example for them for honestly what I thought in the summertime. I'm like, yo, I don't know why like this guy's free. I don't know why Inter's not even looking at him. Hummels.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a perfect guy for their team.
Yeah, I would
like
say
you have
so
a
too,
Cherby
yeah.
who's like he's like on his way out. He's dying. They don't have Skriniar anymore. DeVry, I mean, for me, he's very bang average. He has some good games, but I don't think he's anything. A guy that should be on like a top team, especially trying to be competitive like they are. I don't see him as that guy. So I mean, I'd probably say like if they were in the summertime, should have went for Mats Hummels. Now, I don't know. It's tough. Like who would you say? Who do you think that they should bring?
For me, I would think okay. Like my three positions is like I want to say attacking. Because like you're starting to see even with Lautaro, obviously Lautaro's still Lautaro. He's still good, but he's just not doing anything right now. Yeah, like
very iffy. Like.
So I would honestly consider like I would contemplate: do I need another attacker, or do I need an attacking midfielder type of thing that will like go in between lines? Because realistically, right now, like Fratesi is that guy, but Fratesi doesn't play enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like, who is that guy right now in their starting three midfielders? Like, is it Barella, Mkhitaryan, or Çalhanoğlu? I don't know how to say his name fully. Obviously, all three of them, they have their role, but none of them is like that late run midfielder getting up there, almost like a third striker type of thing.
Yeah.
So like, that's where my head goes. If I'm talking about a defender they would need, I would definitely look at like another center back.
Yeah.
Their wing back situation, they're perfectly fine. Denzel's still good. They have thing over there. What's his name? Fucking Augusto, whatever. Is it Augusto?
Carlos.
Yeah, and then DeMarco, he's not he's not slowing down in any way.
No.
Whatever. So for me, I would look at like there's a debate. They have Bastoni, they have Bisek. So it's just that third guy.
Yeah.
Now you could argue, is Bastoni now going to be deemed a veteran? Because he's been there for a while, right? And he started off as a young kid. So do you need that experienced guy?
I still think so.
If they need that experienced guy, a guy I would look at, like even like you said, even though I would consider something for like Big Verge. They have the money for it. Yeah. It's Inter. They have the money. I know it's a little bit crazy. Everyone thinks like whatever, but it's Marotta who capitalizes on free deals. So a deal like that wouldn't be off the fucking books for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would go to Liverpool and say, "Hey, here's $2 million. Let's get him right now. At least you're getting money for a world class defender." Obviously $2 million is very low. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Don't criticize me.
Another
guy I would look into that would probably fit Inzaghi's system would be one of the Atalanta defenders. And if I'm going to choose anybody, I would make a case for that Swedish guy, Isak Hien. Hien or Kien, I don't know how to, whatever. Anyways,
I know what you're talking about.
He's been resolute. He's been sound. Ideally, I would have said Romero when he was leaving Atalanta for Inter to look into him.
Yeah.
But he's gone. Inter's the only team I've seen succeed with an Atalanta player.
Yeah.
Bastoni, technically an Atalanta player, right? So I wouldn't mind to see a guy like Hien go over there. But that's like, he's still a little bit young as well. He's 24. So is he the experienced presence? No. But would he fit into that back line? Yeah. And I could see Inter going for something like that. Attacker, back to that though. A name that comes to my mind, and I'm pretty sure they were linked with him in the summer. And he's not playing at all. Your guy, Chiesa.
I mean, I saw the rumor honestly like not too long ago actually, with like because they're talking about with him with Liverpool now, and he may be wanting to return. The only thing with that man, it's not a system for him.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
That's the only reason. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like it doesn't make sense. Like you told me Chiesa's going to like Roma or he's going to Milan.
Yeah.
I'd still be like whatever, like fuck, like it's sour to see it, but it makes more sense. At least like that, there's opportunity for him to still thrive. It's not going to be like with Inter where it's going to be kind of the same with Juve that he's going to be either playing as a striker or as like a right midfielder and having to track back all game. Like that, I can't really see him doing it. I don't see Inter going to get it, like going for him to try to get the best out of him, and they're playing him like that because, I mean, all you have to do is just look back at last year, and I get, okay, coming back from the injury, that didn't help the situation, but you saw like it wasn't his comfortable position. You weren't getting the best out of Chiesa. So I think like that, a move like that for them, I don't think it doesn't make really much sense.
Yeah.
Like that would just be more like, hey, yo, dude, fuck you, man.
Oh no, well, that's
we got your boy now.
To me, that again, like I think I wouldn't do it because again, it's like you said, where does he fit in? Like, because Inter plays that 3-man backline. That's resolute. They're gonna stick with that. That's Inzaghi's go-to. Whatever. Yeah. Where does he fit in? We saw Allegri try the 3-5-2. Chiesa playing in the middle didn't work out. What makes it seem like this is gonna be different? Nothing.
That's what I mean.
So then that's why I look at you and say I would get another midfielder. Right. I would use the money you get from Fratesi because obviously Fratesi is he's great. There's no problems there. It's just he's never going to be a starter and he deserves that. So I would be looking at, I don't know if he's still on Monza actually, and I'm pretty sure Inter owns him and just keeps on loaning him out. Carboni.
Okay.
They're attacking him at either Carboni, I'd look into, Daniele Maldini, who but wouldn't go there because of the name.
Yes, but also I feel like Inter's not. Inter right now is at a stage of not, hey, let's buy this guy. Hope they want guys that are experienced, that they're at that point in their career where they're ready to win. Because Inter's at that point now. Yeah. Like Inter, right? The team you're seeing right now, like especially like they're solid key players, like guys that have been making a difference, like fucking Mkhitaryan finding his fucking prime again somehow with Inter. Like those, like there's only like. Their clock is ticking. Even fucking Darmian, who has been, every time he comes on, he shuts down. He's been a fucking wall for them. Those guys are slowly fading out, and Inter know that. They like Morata knows that. He's been this. It was the same. It's a cycle, man. It's the same thing with Juve too. Eventually, they're gonna start. Like some of these guys are gonna start leaving. Some of these guys are gonna start retiring. That's when you start that change. But now, Inter's got to try to get guys that have experience, that they can come to the team now. And it's not like they have to wait, and they have to kind of grow them and kind of. They know what it takes. They're gonna come in and they'll be able to fill a role, and they understand what it fucking what it is.
But that's the thing too. Like we think that, right? They need the experience. They need whatever to fill roles. But it's also like they have technically that. Like, and this is the only part that pisses me off is they have a starting 11, and in my opinion, their starting 11 is almost seamless. Yeah. So who fits in? If you're going after the experienced guy, not one experienced guy that comes like us. Besides a Virgil van Dijk or like guys like that, there's not a lot of guys that break into that starting 11, start full time and whatever. If you're looking for an experienced guy, they're gonna look to start. They're not gonna 100%. Look like, oh, let me earn my spot, let me do whatever. Like it's not the case. Like there's not a lot of selfless players out there like the Moratas. Yeah, that I know what I'm doing here. I'm a veteran presence. I'm helping. I'm easing it. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So that's why I'll keep on going with the younger people because it's like. You already know they buffed Fratesi. Yeah. Fucking Mkhitaryan, who's 36, is playing above him. You know what I mean? Like, it happened. And that's why it's I don't even know, experienced players wise, who breaks that 11. Given how hard knock
one position especially, which I think has to be addressed, is the goalie.
Yeah. Yes. But that's going to be a free transfer too.
Two people who I think, I can't get the free transfer. You're going to try to do that. Fuck that. Spend the money here. Two goalies that Inter should be looking at to really that they're going to be good for a while and they won't have to worry. One of them might be a little bit tougher because he was part of a rival, Donnarumma. The next one is Carnesecchi from Atalanta.
I love him.
He's been last year when he was playing on, what was he, on Monza last year?
No,
he wasn't on Monza. Where was he?
Oh my God, Carnesecchi was on.
I remember because we were linked with him last year, and I was like, ooh, before D. Greggs. I can't remember what team he was on.
Keep talking about him.
Okay, whatever. Now he's on Atalanta, and it's exactly what I said. I'm like, this kid here is gonna be fucking something dangerous. Yeah. And that's when we were linked with him. I was like, oh, dude, 100%. Fuck Szczesny, get him out of here. If Perin's down, they kind of do they'll kind of swap between, whatever. And this guy's still young, and it'll be good. Yeah. I went to Atalanta, and he's fucking showing this year. Why he had that fucking
he's a very good goalie.
Dude, he's fucking good, man.
But the price tag for him might be absurd. You know what I don't think
it'll be higher. I don't think it'll be too crazy because it's a goalie. I know it's Atalanta, but I don't think it'll be too crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, Inter can kind of work with them because, again, now they're at that point where it's like, hey, we need to win now. They'd be willing, and I guarantee it, to sacrifice maybe one or two of these young kids that they have in the team, give them Atalanta and bring in Conceicao because, dude, they do that. Inter is set with a proper goalie for a very long time. Yeah. Like they don't have to worry about
Which is crazy because you thought after Onana they would like look into like a middle-aged goalie again, you know, like and get somebody of that standard. Like don't get me wrong, Jan Sommer obviously did what he like. I never rated Jan Sommer to be honest with you. I thought he was good with his feet and that's all I could give him. But like to get him for free, not a bad show at all. Like it's
just a fill
like,
in. Yeah,
you know, like it was a stopgap for a dire situation, which they did good work on. But yeah, I think definitely goalie. That's the thing, right? Like it's very rare you see a goalie signing in January.
Yeah,
and they become the star. That's why I didn't mention goalie because it's like they could sign one, but he's not going to fucking start. They'd rather get rid of their goalie. Goalies are that weird position that it's like, no, we get rid of the goalie before we sign a new one. Which is odd to me, but sure, to each their own.
Unless you're Juve and you just
then
sign them as the third goalie, and you're like, okay, now with fourth goalie, and we're okay. We're Chesney. We got to figure out how we're gonna get rid of you.
Terminate his contract.
And he's like, all right, I'm gonna do some butts now.
Next team, we'll talk about their rival, Milan.
Okay.
Where they could approve.
Yes.
Improve.
They gotta approve the approves.
They gotta approve their approval. So
I think there's a lot of positions that I can go through.
And it wasn't their coach, respectfully. Fonseca, don't worry, you got sacked, but
we know it wasn't your fault. Yeah. They'll get exposed again.
It was your star players for letting you down.
Yes, Leao being a cocksucker, Thiago being a cocksucker, and having
Thiago
having no defense.
Yeah,
the one defender that you actually had, you sold him to a rival and kept what you have.
Yeah.
So for me. I mean, other than Theo, and like I'll only say Theo just because like I know he's not the greatest defending, but he still makes a difference. And under the right coach and everything, like you've seen, you know, Pioli get the best out of him, and you see what Theo can do, man. He was one of the best fullbacks in the world when under those years under Pioli. So not even saying him, but like personally, you know, this may just be. I know I saw we were linked with Tomori. I don't want that. I don't think Tomori is good enough for even Milan too. He makes too many mistakes, too many fucking errors, and I just think Milan could do a lot better than him. Even Tia.
Yeah, he sucks.
Even him too. Okay, like people were like, I saw like the same clip, like this Milan account was posting on thing of like him, the one thing he defended Vlahovic like making a run and he like blocked him and like shielded it. I'm like, okay, sick, dude. Just Vlahovic fucking sucks on 101. So I mean, very impressive, dude. So sick.
Say, it's not like you're showing him up against like a Dybala
or an Mbappe. Yeah, like dude, you do it against Dybala, you get fucking turned inside out.
Yeah, exactly.
So like for me, I never rated him, and he's still fucking shit. The next one is the right back. Emerson Royal and Calabria
suck.
Both fucking suck. 3 positions right there they need to address badly.
You only said 2.
What?
Oh, you want
2 center backs?
Too.
No, 2 center backs and the right back.
Shit, you're doubling down on center back.
Oh yeah. Even honestly, I'm just saying I'll just do one center. I'll give you a center back, a right back, and I mean I'd probably say like it's tough. New Milan, they need so much. I would even say a striker and a midfielder.
You know what, striker I won't say because
striker I'll leave for now because okay, whatever, they have Morata, they have Tammy, but like those are just like for me, I love Morata. You know, Tammy's your boy, but tell me if I'm wrong. Both of those guys are backup strikers.
Yes,
they're subs.
But that's the thing. I think they're fill-ins. I think like my honest opinion is they're fill-ins until they could actually see what Kamara does.
And they sign Mbappe.
What? They're signing Mbappe?
Oh yeah, dude, he's a Milan fan, so apparently he's going there
soon forward.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know, that's what Leona said.
That's what every Milan fan says after they emerge from their cave today.
No, but start off in the midfield. The one guy I will say, actually, I'll give you. I'll kind of talk about 2, and I want to see your thoughts. One of them, I saw that they were linked with him, and you know, I think that he would be a good fit for them. Is Ricci.
Samuel Ricci. I saw that too. Actually,
I saw they were linked with him, and I really think that would be a good fit in the midfield for what they have now. Beside Fofana and Reindeers, I think he would fit perfectly in that mix. It just depends now, you know, taking that step to that next level.
Yeah.
You know, see how much of a toll it takes on him and how easy and how quick he can kind of get adjusted and, you know, playing his best football. Other than him, the other guy I would say, and I know, there's talks about him just kind of returning to Italy is Tonali. Tonali, I mean, a guy we've seen what he can do with Milan. He's talked about being a Milan fan. So I mean, he slots right in, and I think he automatically just makes that midfield better and the team better right there. So I would say either one of those two isn't a bad choice. It's not a wrong choice.
Yeah.
The other one I would say, I'm gonna kind of change. I'll only do one defender. The other one I would say is Chiesa. For as much as I would hate to see it, I think you run an attack of Leao, Morata, Chiesa, and you have Pulisic playing right behind them. I think for what you kind of can do and what you have right now, that's already better than what they have.
Yeah.
And I feel like that makes going forward, that makes them even better.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say Chiesa to try to get that in, especially it won't be too expensive. They could probably get him on a loan, probably get Liverpool to even pay the fucking his fees this season,
half the salary,
and the good, and then you see how he does. You put it if they can get like a loan with option that, or let him ride the half of the season. He fits in well, and he starts fucking playing like how Chiesa was. Then you make that option a reasonable price that it's not. You're not getting fucked over, which I don't think they will, because he hasn't really done anything. So there's no reason for them to be putting a high price tag on him. So I mean, they can end up getting him in the summer after the season, see how he does. That'd be a fucking solid move for them.
Yeah, I think for Milan, obviously, I would look at you and say
I didn't say my defender. You just kind of cut me off there. You didn't really let me.
Hurry up, man.
The last one,
Danilo
for defender. Not a bad shout, actually.
I thought you were gonna say, because I would have said that.
I was gonna say two guys. Danilo, okay, one of them. I feel like with the experience he brings and the style that they play, I feel like he would fit in really good, really well there. The other guy, going a little bit younger, but I think can also be a good fit and can also be something, which and Milan need fucking Italians. Scalvini.
Not a bad shout, actually.
Bringing a guy like that, I feel like would be a good thing, because man, you look at Milan's team, you wouldn't even think they were fucking Italian.
Yeah,
like I'm sorry, it's fucking sad.
And that's not. Even,
I'm not even tripping because I'm a Juve fan.
I agree.
It's fine. I said it with Inter. Like now you look at them, dude. Look at the amount of Italians that they have on that team now.
Yeah.
Inter really improved, and like, dude, I'll give them that, man. I always chirp them because they always had like 1 or 0 Italians.
Yeah,
and now Milan turned to that team.
Yeah.
So I would definitely I would say for defense, man, a guy like Danilo or a guy like Scalvini.
You know what? I would have said Danilo. That was my choice for defender, because I agree. Like, if one of their biggest issues right now, I would say, is honestly that center back pairing is absolutely abysmal. Yeah. Gabbia is intelligent, but he's weak. Yeah. He's frail.
Yeah.
Really, like, whatever. Tamori really fell off and is just an athlete now. Yeah. Doesn't really have the defensive ability. Cha, whatever his name is, genuinely sucks. So I think if you were to put like a Danilo, that would have been my whatever. I think that would be good alongside a guy like Gabbia to like kind of nurture him and help him, like that experienced presence.
Yeah, big time.
Other guy I'd say, and I know they've been linked with him heavily, and I really thought about this, and I really broke it down and genuinely like started to think, is this guy's career done, or does he just need that rejuvenation? Marcus Rashford. He's already linked, so I'm sticking with that trend like you were doing too, who was linked, whatever. And I think Rashford actually could have a very, very good resurgence with Milan. You look at all these rejected Prem players. They still have the not the natural ability, but they have that natural athleticism, right? And all these athletic players usually do well enough in Italy to stay relevant. You know what I mean? And like you look at Gervinho, man. That's always going to be my example, because Gervinho sucks. But he came every year he played in Italy. The guy averaged a fucking double-digit season in goals. He'd miss a lot, but his speed and his dribbling just always
dominated.
Yeah, because Serie A is not used to that. There's a lot of teams that don't have like smart players or good enough defenders or whatever it is, right? So I think if Rashford were to come into this Milan team, given his versatility that he could play as a number 9, he could play as a left winger, he could even play behind the striker. I think that would be so clutch, especially with this final stretch for Milan, given the fact that, like, like Tammy, I love Tammy, but obviously there's problems with him sometimes, and I don't think he's really fully recovered from all his like bad injuries that he got. That he doesn't have 90 minutes left in him. And then you have Morata, who again I love, selfless player, but it's almost like Morata could only play a Spanish style of soccer, which isn't bad at all. Fantastic fucking system, but like he's just not built for this right now, you know? And like I don't know, I feel bad saying that, but maybe I don't know if they could work out a deal to get Rashford to somehow drop that 15 mil fucking salary. Then I think
there might be a chance.
If even
so.
United decides they're going to cover 80% of it or the whole thing, like even if it's just a loan, because a lot of the times in January, like it's never like a purchase,
a lot of them will just
it's a loan with option, you know, like whatever. I would like to see Milan also pick up a right back, but I also have really high expectations for a guy that is mocked a lot amongst our friend group, Terracciano. I love him. I think he's actually really good, but Fonseca Fonseca played this guy left back, defensive mid, left mid. It's like, brother, he literally grew up a right back. Like you're not even playing him right back. You're playing him opposite. Like of everything. Like, and that's why I always would look for a solution at home first.
Yeah. And
I feel I move on to spending the money.
And with him, I feel like now with Conceicao, at some point this year, I feel like you're almost gonna kind of see like that revelation of like when, you know, they found Calabria or like Donnarumma, where they're gonna play him one game in that right back role in his actual position. He's gonna have a fucking unreal game, and that's when everyone's gonna actually see what he can do and be like, hey, we found our right back, we're good. I think it's just gonna take just that one game.
Look at that kid, Alex Jimenez, that's been playing for them lately.
Yeah,
he's a fucking little devil. He's a really good player, but he's a left back. They've been playing him left mid out of whatever. But like, look, that's a solution already they found for themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like, I definitely do believe in Milan's youth, because Milan has always had a history of generating good youth. So that's why I don't want to harp too much. It's like, oh, sign these guys.
Yeah,
I honestly look and say, getting Danilo, fantastic move. I know he might be a little bit washed up, but he's not your fucking permanent fix, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's just there.
And be a good fit.
Looking at an attacker, Chiesa is another perfect example, like you said, right? But without harping too much on Milan either, because
fuck him,
Milan merda, whatever. Who's next? Who do you want to talk about next?
So we did Inter, we did Milan. Let's do. Want to do Napoli?
Let's do Napoli. I'll start because frig you. For me, it's simple. I think with Conte, the pride of his thing is midfield and defense. Defense, they're looking very solid.
Yeah.
But I would say there are frailties with Alex Meret. There has always been frailties with the guy. But in saying that, again, it's hard to get a goalie in the January thing that becomes a starter unless you're signing one of the big dogs. So 100%. I will look at their midfield. Not going to say attacker because Lukaku couldn't do no wrong, even though I don't rate him at all.
Yeah.
I would say Lukaku out, but whatever. Midfield. And they are linked with some names. But what the two guys that I think would actually do well for them, three guys, I would say. Genuinely just three guys, because it's like a 4-3-3 he plays. I'd honestly look at you and say there's a lot of links with Pellegrini and Fratesi. There's also a link with Cristante, which is so absurd that teams are linked with this guy. But anyways, in a weird way, I think Cristante would be a better fit under Conte and Napoli than Pellegrini would.
Yeah, but they would have Scott McSauce.
But that's what I mean, because Conte does weirdly well with these big oafs that aren't athletic, but somehow makes them so athletic. You know what I mean? So like, and Cristante when he was on Atalanta, he was playing as an attacking mid, this box-to-box guy. So Conte could get that out of him again, and it's like, I don't want to lose Cristante because I love Cristante. He's just a meme in my life now. Like, it's like I need him there. But I could see like him going there and doing well as depth, as like a rotational player. You know, like when I think of Napoli's mid, I think of three starters and that's it.
Yeah.
Zambo Anguissa, Lobotka, and McSauce. That's it though. Like there's zero depth there.
Yeah.
Pellegrini to me doesn't make sense for them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't think he would fit Conte. I think Conte would rip him apart.
Out of those ones there, the ones that you've named, I think literally Fratesi and Cristante.
That's it. And that's why like those are the two then if I'm Napoli that I'm pushing to sign.
Yeah.
Fratesi also more than
100%,
Cristante, just
100%.
because A, age, B, more to prove. I don't know why I'm like this, and I said two things. Well, and skill. Yeah.
Fratesi's better.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To mention it. I wasn't sure if it was,
no.
clear
Cristante like is, but then again, hey, Cristante has versatility. Fratesi doesn't.
Yeah.
Cristante plays center back, not good. At all, actually.
He could,
but Conte loves a ball playing center back, and that's center of the 3-man back line. Maybe that could be a fix for him too. Like I don't know, man. I think Cristante to Napoli makes a lot of sense to me, and I hate saying it because I don't know any Roma players, but
I think out of those three, the two of them make the more sense than Pellegrini.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they could do with a right winger as well because Politano isn't good. Come back to Roma if you want to. But anyways,
yeah. Fuck Politano.
Yeah, he sucks. I could see Zaccagni going there eventually.
100%.
He has
100%.
that fucking annoying face too.
Yeah, that you can definitely see he plays on Napoli.
Yeah. Like a Lavezzi style. Like Lavezzi, I respect the fuck out of him. But you know what I mean? Like he still had that like annoying look to him. Zaccagni has that. So maybe if he goes to Napoli, I'd actually respect him more though. So let's hope that goes through.
Maybe.
You? What do you think?
I don't think it'll be too much like too different than yours. I definitely would agree with the right winger that that definitely has to be something that has to be addressed, especially if they want to go the whole way and actually win the Scudetto this year and be competitive in that sense. Go for a guy like Chiesa.
Yeah.
Like at that point there, okay, yes, I don't rate Lukaku. I don't like him, but then you have an attack of Cavada, Lukaku, and Chiesa. Like you're not getting much better than that, especially with the way Conte is. He'll get the best out of Chiesa, and I think that like that almost there is just like a match made in heaven. So that's one of them I would say right away. Like that's one to go for. The next one I'm going to agree again with the midfield because I feel like that is one of their weaker points in the team. But they bring in a guy like Fratesi. I feel like that just elevates them, and I know he's not playing much, but we've seen what he can do. We know what he's capable of, and again under Conte. I guarantee, like you see Fratesi playing there, he's gonna be playing like fucking Conte had Arturo Vidal playing at Juve.
Oh yeah,
like easily. He is gonna be a fucking monster box to box.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be everybody's nightmare coming up against him, especially when he's covering you.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I mean, I would kind of disagree with you about the defense thing. Like I know you mentioned that you said that like you feel like that's pretty solid, it's pretty sound, but I feel like ever since, they lost Koulibaly, they replaced him with Kim Min-jae, then he left. I don't feel like they really properly replaced how much of an impact both of those guys had in the defense.
Okay.
And I feel like they just kind of left it and like, hey, you know what? We're not too bad right now, so let's just let it ride and we'll focus on other signings to make. Which, okay, I get, we're not like the Prem teams or like Saudi Arabia where we have all this money. You got to kind of plan things out strategically. So I get the move, but I would definitely say a defender. Like a guy like honestly, perfect fit for them. I hate to say it again, is Danilo. A guy like that, like Danilo, again, perfect for Conte. He addresses multiple things because you can play him center back, you can play him right back. That helps out when certain things have to change. And a guy you lose one of your guys. Di Lorenzo, he gets hurt or something. How he can't play. You can have Danilo fill in there.
Yeah.
Another game you have a say you're gonna play him center back. He can go in there no problem. He's been playing it now with you for years. So a guy like that, I feel like would be the perfect guy for that team and really kind of make them solid. And as much as I'm not saying he's a fucking top center back, but you see, man, when he plays in a system that suits him, like last year, man, he was one of our. Yes, Bremer was unreal, but Danilo was like just as equal, and that's why I was talking about that fall off because last year he was so impressive, and then this year he just looks so shaky every time he played. So, but I think kind of going to Napoli is at a move that he kind of needs as well. Just to kind of have that, rejuvenation and
his career on a note instead of being known as like an Alexandro. You know what I mean? Like
just kind of there and like, okay, I'm staying here. Fuck you guys. Like, what happened to Alexandro now? Is he dead? Is he?
I don't even know where he's playing.
I think he's a free agent. No one wants to sign him, and you don't want to get to that point. You're still he can still make a difference on a team. why are you wasting your time now at Juve where it's Juve's trying to figure out their identity and who they are and the way they want to play, and with this new coach and everything, he doesn't fit the style. He's too slow for what they're trying to do, and you see it every time he plays. So that's probably that's the third one I would say right there for Napoli.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I didn't say defenders is because I see Buongiorno as like a wall himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have him on a high pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest thing. I just like I didn't even think actually about Danilo though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think about that versatility. Like, that's actually a very good show.
Fucking versatile, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like Danilo could fit into every team right now.
Could.
Like, whatever, except Roma.
He could for most of those teams.
We don't need him at Roma. We're too fucking stocked.
Well, that was Napoli.
Yeah.
Next thing we'll go on, since you mentioned it, we'll go on Roma.
Yeah. I'm glad we're not going to mention the other side of Rome today, right? Or no more.
Who, the fucking losers?
Yeah,
you couldn't even win a fucking
third. You guys suck.
Guys, what? 13th place Roma? Disgusting. Hey, you guys showed them, man.
We're rising. We're on the rise.
Hey, all you guys proved is the standings mean fucking nothing.
And you guys mean nothing.
Oh, you guys are 4th place. Sick.
Yeah.
Couldn't even beat us, and we're all the way down here.
It should. You guys should be raped.
Whoa.
Wow, it's getting. I'm getting
no one is getting raped.
Yeah, we didn't say that word whale. I meant to say.
Joe, take it easy.
Roma.
Don't see red because of Lazio. See red because of Roma.
Yeah, because we.
Roma.
The song was actually there in the stands. Like, he's always there for the Roma Lazio.
Fonseca was there with his hoodie on.
I wish. He's so cute. He could come back to Roma anytime. Fonseca.
Maybe Ranieri brings him back next year.
No, we're gonna get Ancelotti. You guys heard it here first.
Okay.
Don't worry, I spoke.
So okay, now we got rid of the unrealistic transfers. Now let's talk about the realistic transfers for Roma.
I think I'm kidding. Watch when we sign Ancelotti.
Yeah. Let's talk about the realistic transfers for Roma.
Realistic transfers. I kind of
What does Roma need? No, I want to do Roma. Okay. I'll go first because you're the Roma fan, so I feel like you'll kind of go more into it a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, Sonny, isn't it?
3 guys right off the top of my head. Fratesi.
Yep.
I mean, came from Roma. Is just, I feel like, a perfect guy with his attitude and just the way he plays for Roma and the team that you guys have now. I feel like it's a position where you guys don't have somebody that like solidifies it and is a guaranteed starter, and with the bonus of him being Italian too, I think it's just a match made in heaven.
Yeah,
for him to return to Roma, and it's a realistic option.
I'll cry if he comes.
The next one, I would say, again, probably a center back. This time I wouldn't say Danilo. I would say
that's a curious one though. Well, okay, I understand why you say a center back.
Yeah,
I do, because like Mancini isn't it.
No,
and like literally, I'd say Ndika is our best center back.
I get the love. Mancini, he's passionate and everything, but the faster you guys realize, hey, it'll be better for us if we move on for him and bring in somebody else than just keep trying to make it happen with him.
Yeah, because
Joe, I'm sorry. I've talked shit about him. I know you've defended him, and rightfully so. Like he's on your team. That's your guy. I get it, but he's not it.
Yeah,
he's not the guy that you.
No,
a guy like that. Like you guys can, let's say, even if you do it, like you can do like you work out a fucking swap, or you can just sell him and bring in a guy like Scalvini. I'll even say again too.
Yeah,
I think that like you put a guy like Scalvini who can also distribute the ball with someone like Ndika.
Yeah,
that's already like that's already a fucking game changer compared to Mancini.
Yeah,
that's one thing for me. I would say that's where Roma needs to improve.
But do you think here in January is the time to replace Mancini? That's why I'm maybe kind of
even to bring in somebody and then get rid of him in the summer. Kind of once you kind of see how it goes. If you want to say okay, maybe January, I would say like maybe try to look at. Either probably a left back or a right back, because you guys have nobody and you really need to fill those roles.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I would try to I'm trying to think of somebody that can kind of play both, because I feel like that's like you need kind of like that Swiss Army knife that he can play left back, like a Cambiasso. He can play left back. He can play right back, like wherever you guys kind of need. Because okay, you have what's the the guy from the Saudi Arabia. Alhamdulillah?
No,
Alhamdulillah?
Abdulhamid.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I call him just South.
You have him. I haven't seen too much of him, but okay. Like, he's fairly new. Still give him a chance. Zalewski sucks dick.
Yeah, okay.
What's his name? Fucking the guy that looks like a
Turkish barber over there? Is that Celik?
Yeah, Celik.
Yeah, 86.
Gone. Like, that shouldn't even be on the team.
Yeah.
Both those guys, they should not be on the team.
Yeah.
Gone. So, I'm like, that's a tough thing. 'Cause right now, I'm trying to think of fullbacks, like, that would even be, like, possible right now. And I don't really see much right now. Like, I feel like that's just kind of be something that Roma's going to be like, hey, we're going to kind of ride with this right now. Because even, like, I would say, like, Danilo again, but, like, I don't see that being a realistic option.
I don't think that's even.
If he's going anywhere, I see, like, Napoli, maybe Milan. But
and I don't even think he would fit in. And, like, yeah.
I don't think he'll fit in
he'd
there.
fit in. I don't think he's him in that.
The other one, so I already said Fratesi. The other one, you mentioned with another team, but I think personally he would fit better on Roma. And it again, all depends on the money and if it's even feasible. But I think he fits better on Roma, and I'll explain why. Marcus Rashford. I think Marcus Rashford going to a team like Juve or Milan, you know, if you can get the best of his game, yes, he can be very useful. He's versatile. He's a great player. But the problem is his attitude. And you've seen it with multiple coaches at United. Multiple coaches have said it. Nothing has changed. And I just feel like he's kind of like one of those players like Nangolan, where he needs a team that'll let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do. All he has to do is just make sure he's there for game time. And that's it. And I feel like that, like him going to Roma would be like when you guys signed Jorginho, not even like when you guys signed Salah, but even better, like, because you're getting a guy that has the skill, but you're giving him the freedom, so he'll actually enjoy himself there and want to be there. Now it's like he's being told what to do, and yes, I get that in soccer. Okay, you know, you want to win, you got to have people kind of like almost like soldiers that, like how Juve is, how like people, and who was it? Cassano's like, oh, you know, if I wanted to be a soldier, I would have just went to, like, I would have went to the war instead of going to Juventus.
Fucking nerd.
Like fuck that. But there's players that they don't like that. They want to have control. They're like, oh, fuck you can't tell me what to do. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it doesn't work out the greatest for them. But you know, there's times like Nangolan who, you know, you look at his career and he had a very good career on Roma, but he was happy about it. And that was some of like the best years you saw Roma play with him there. So, I mean, like a guy like Rashford, I know with the money part of it is going to be tough, but hey, if that's something like, you know, they can get United like to cover something and he can go there, I think that would be a fucking perfect signing for you guys.
Yeah. I didn't really think about Rashford.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I
know you didn't.
I was over here like thinking about names. I'm like, fuck. Like I even went on my phone to see like who's available, thinking like, who could Roma get? Like I never really fully thought about Roma and what we need to address, because my thought is always, okay, in January you have a coach. Mm-hmm. You're technically giving him tools to finish the season, but these guys you want to see in your team next year, right? Because like, oh, it's the coach's idea. Yeah. But it's like we don't have a coach for next year. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not like the players we're signing right now. It's a very, very peculiar situation that we're in. Because it's like we're not signing a guy for the future in a sense. Yeah. We're signing a guy that will finish the rest of the year. Hopefully they're good enough, and the new coach comes in and likes them. Unless it's a dry loan, obviously, which I hate dry loans, but I understand.
But you get like Rashford on like one of those, kind of see how he does, make him fall in love with the city, and the new coach comes in. Hey, you know, you want this guy, or do we go for somebody else and leave it up to him?
I think for us though, the biggest problem is like, okay, Fratesi, that I agree with you again. Perfect signing. I want him at all costs, because I also think no matter who we have next year as a coach, we'll love Fratesi as well. So that's why Fratesi, automatic. I agree with that. Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts in my head. You know what I mean? I would say, like that guy Saud, when he plays on right back, when he does play, he's good. Mm-hmm. He's quick. He's fast. You just know, like, and even Ranieri said, it's a language barrier right now, and it's literally a completely different league. Yeah. So we're not rushing him, but he is definitely a guy for the future potentially. You know, he's young and whatever. Like, he's a good player. So I don't want to. We also have that kid Buba Sangare that is 16 years old, supposed to be great. So that's why I don't want to harp too much on the right back position. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Especially for the rest of the year. But second